good morning, everybody. Nick Amata right here, right now, in the present of now. Welcome back to another episode, a fantastic episode, because, of course, we have a special guest, an amazing person that I just met, and I can't wait to introduce everybody. Straight from the UK, so this is an international guest. David Adeoye, how you doing?
I'm fine, my good friend. Thanks, Nick, for having me. Thanks, Nicola, for having me. My name is David Adeoye Abodunrin, and I'm based in the UK. I'm excited to be here. Awesome work you're doing. Thank you for helping people all over the world navigate their careers. It's a privilege to meet you. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. As all our guests in this platform, I don't know much about it. I love to discover with all of you listeners what David has to offer for all of us. But I was too curious, so I had some questions. And you, David, you had an amazing career. Like in this last 5 years, and just so many. He started describing all the things he did. It was like, oh my goodness, I need to get my stuff together and work because you got a lot of certification degree awards. You just some kind of a superhuman almost. You have a quite a career. Tell a little bit of your story. Because you say you're Nigerian too. You're from Nigeria.
Yes, I'm from Nigeria, and I started my career right after university. If you want to count before university, I actually did some work as a junior surveyor right during my engineering degree in between the years 1995 and 2001. I finished my bachelor's degree there about 2001, 2002. And so you're dealing with over 2 decades of experience. I started, though my first degree was in electronics computer engineering with specialization in telecommunications and networking. That's where I started from as a young engineer, exposed to all the telco materials, machines. Was in charge of telecom network deployments back home. Did some work with external line plan. Those who are in technology will understand what that means. Did some very good work in external line plans, amazing work in transmission engineering, understood simplex and complex communications, monosynchronous, asynchronous, long story, different things done this, been there. After a while, after spending a good number of years in telecommunications engineering as a young project engineer, I then moved into project management, and that started my journey, leapfrogging me straight into consulting, where I did work in project management, got certified in project management, trained many other project managers, succeeded as a project manager myself, worked with some very good big multinationals and some other kind of private projects, personal projects, and they're moving things like business process reengineering and all of that around value engineering. That led me directly into the core of consulting, and then I moved into project management directorship role within the advertising marketing com space after working in core telco for a while. So I've been blessed to have seen transitions from the core techie, if you know what I mean, to the uh, art, also the creative industries, where I was able to apply my knowledge of project management to help solve one or two problems. And then in that space, I also did some work in human capital development, some personal work I'd done since my teenage years in psychology, how to understand people, how to help people, how to coach people. And I dare say I'm a coach at an instinctive level, beyond the skill of it, which I also have. I have some very strong skills in coaching that are at level of gift or talentedness that I hope that I serve people with always, and I hope to be able to serve many more people. All right. So in the mix of that, there about 2020. Now I've been clear 2 decades on this pathway, and I needed a jump start, and then the COVID hit, and then that for me was clarity. And then I went back to school, did my MBA at the Hult International Business School here in London campus. And as I was in that class, Eureka moment hit me, and then I moved. I said, well, it's time for me to consolidate on my first degree in electronics computer engineering, wherein I now studied cybersecurity, threat intelligence and cyber forensics at the University of Salford. And so that's my story. And here I am. I live today in the UK, in London precisely. I'm in between Manchester and London predominantly, but more in London at this time. So awesome to be here. Amazing story of many transitions, a little here, a little there, different kinds of steps still growing in the journey. And I hope I'm able to contribute something to the vault of knowledge that can help someone transition into what they want to be. Yeah.
Well, that's quite fantastic. Now I'm more impressed
Thanks a
than
lot.
before when we were telling a little bit. Fantastic, fantastic. So you
Thanks a lot, Nicole.
basically from being engineering and electric communication and all that kind of parts, then you move to human being and how they communicate each other,
Yeah.
and it's that
Yeah.
getting a little bit more complex than just telecommunication. And then you move to cyber security and the kind of
Yeah.
all the communication between human and technology. So you've been through all the kind of the growing path. That's a quite extraordinary. Um,
Absolutely.
and in what I, I was speaking about changing because you changed a lot. I am personally changed a lot too. I moved 8,000 miles away from my home, so we understand changing as well. What the primary characteristic to achieve changes without be too uh, afraid or too put it down from be stepping out of your comfort zone. What's the kind of the key on all your changing?
You're taking me back memory lane. Changes are very powerful, and I encourage everyone to change. If you don't embrace your change, if you don't cause change, change will be affected on you. If you don't cause change, CAUSE, change will be affected on you. So change is a constant thing in life, whether at the cause side when you yourself initiate the change, or the effect side when the outcome of the change is coming to you. Change will happen to every one of us. So the best ways for us to have control and crystallize the kind of future we want, we must cause change. So sit down and anticipate your future, drawing a general map at any point in time. And because you've never done this exercise before, does not mean that this will be the final one you're going to do. It's just every time change, since change is constant, take a short view and then deliberately change. Look at your life right now, look at where you want to be, and then put small changes at a time. Small changes at a time. Get used to the entropy created by change. Never settle. Never settle. It's not easy, but never settle. Once you cross 40, majority of persons want to settle down. Never settle. Do everything to evoke a change, evoke another change, a little change here, a little change there, with a faltering set of steps will the future unravel itself to you. And if you choose to wait without taking those little small adjustments, the big bang adjustments from the outside will catch up with you and you may not be able to cope. So, the key for me is to embrace change and begin to practice incremental change. Make sure you don't stay in one location. Make sure you find factors of change and then do the changing deliberately,
Embrace
intentionally.
the change. Embrace the change. I love that. I love that. And I create almost on my the way I describe it is be allergic to the comfort zone. As soon as you start to feel you create a little bit of a comfort zone around you, you start to sneeze, your nose start to get red because that's kind of create that kind of allergy to clarify your path
Mhm,
and realize you create another comfort zone.
mhm,
Let's change it again. So
mhm.
get you a kind of a totally shift of mindset of what we probably society and trying to embrace this, trying to
Yeah.
settle down, trying to create routine, trying to get used to. This is a very opposite um kind of movement, opposite mindset that we need to create, and all of the people um, achieve that.
Mhm.
But I believe it's very, very powerful.
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear that.
So trying to create that, get used to change, changing step by
Yes,
step.
it's
It's a
not
little bit
easy.
It's not easy. And I think
It's
society
not
tries to
easy.
create the opposite because they want you to settle down. They want you to embrace the same routine, the same friends, the same habits.
I agree.
But
I agree. I agree fully. Okay, finish your question.
no. It just the thoughts that come in my mind, how everybody's trying to put you in the same spot and bring you down as soon as you wanted to change, because then all people around you, it's not that they don't want to see you achieve your dreams. It's they start to get far away from them because they're in a different spots. And this has happened with careers, friends, family. So it's funny how, embracing the change can make it a little bit easier changing, but it's never easy. It's always hard to say goodbye to friends or relationship.
Yes. Everyone will feel the pressure and the parity of gravity. Once you are a human being on this planet, you are doomed to the fate of gravity for your two legs to be firm on the ground. In and of itself, the gravity mechanism and gravitas, the pull towards the core of the earth, is not necessarily a wicked or a wrong thing. It serves for the purposes of stability, cohesion, coherence, and togetherness of the planet as a member of a galaxy where there is constant change and flux. The only problem is that the same force can become counterproductive in your everyday endeavor if you are not aware of the tyranny of gravity. So, for many of us, the relationships around you, the friendships around you, the people who you have in your inner circles are all deliberately positioned to keep you grounded, stable, and to give your life some measure of predictability by design. At least this is not maybe for everybody, for majority of persons, or for most of us, this is the ideal thinking behind the close family, the close friend, the close associate. It is to serve as a form of protection from the harsh realities of the planet, in addition to my earlier point that it is actually to help us stay grounded. It's a way to also bring everybody together and create more warmth at the core. The problem is that same strength can become a liability. Remember, every strength is a weakness flipped on the other end of the spectrum, or looking at it in another context. So, in another context, your associations and the familiar people around you are all elements of your gravity. They give you gravitas, they give your life meaning. They are the ones who you will think about when you wake up in the morning. They're the ones that drive your life. But the problem is, in that whole construct, it can become obsessive and tyrannical. You must know when you got to break out from associations and friendships that make your new level jittery, or that make your new level difficult to achieve. Anyone, you would know that this person does not believe in that trajectory that you're going at. Provided you've done most of your assignments well, be ready to part ways. Be ready to not compromise your lift or your leap, because therein comes the DNA of your uniqueness. Were we all to conform to gravity, then we will not have the element of uniqueness. The only way you can be unique in your journey is to deal with the question decisively, that you will dare to be different by your actions taken and by the things that you choose to do and not to do. You are crafting within the universe your own future and your own existence. So, in carving all of that existence out, you cannot drive forward looking at the rear mirror. You will crash. Nobody's trying to move forward, and then they keep looking at things that happened in the past. So all of things happen in your past, all of the relationships around you, they are the element of gravity and gravitas meant to make you grounded. That's all. But in terms of forward leaping, whatsoever that you have desired to do, make sure that internally you've crossed the bar. That's another thing. Many people are trying to cross the bar physically, have not crossed it internally. Cross the bar internally, and you see your body follow. Cross the bar internally, your internal mental programs and all of that, cross internally. When you cross your mental syntax internally, on the outside, there will be a difference.
Wow. Yeah. Why you were talking about gravity, gravitas, I was imagining almost try to launch a skyrocket in the sky, trying to almost the Elon Musk situation here. How much energy it needs it will take to put a piece of metal up in the sky, because gravity what's containing that, so all the energy to trying to challenge gravity to achieve the sky, to go up there. That's what I was thinking. I was kind of imagining what while you were talking. It was fascinating how it can relate for pretty much anything in life that we do, any routines, any interaction that we have daily. It constantly trying to, instead of defeat, instead of to challenge, instead of being contrast with all of naturally physical law and universal law, we need to embrace it. We need to challenge them to achieve more. And almost trying to, you know, fly. A lot of people, back in the day, where the two brothers trying to fly, they were like, "You guys are crazy. You will never fly." Or people that were like, "Oh, if you drive a car more than 100 miles, you will crash. Your body will completely disassemble because your body can handle 100 miles per hour." That was when the first car was invented. So all this kind of achievement, I think we are built in a way that we naturally to achieve. And I think naturally we need to challenge ourselves. Naturally, we need to step out our comfort zone. But like you were saying, our physiology, our gravity, our planet Earth, and all the kind of those universal law, keep you grounded because they need to keep order in the whole chaos of predictability. So this is extremely fascinating. It's getting very, very powerful conversation out here. And I'm truly excited. I want to know a question about what you think of kind of the idea of to where to stop. Like, what's the final goal? It's the final goal to never stop, or it's the final goal to one day I will be in peace? What could be the final challenge?
Mhm. The day you define life in absolute or finality, you're ready to live. You're asking for the grave. What is never ending is learning. Somebody wrote a book, success is never ending, failure is never final. Whether success or failure is a transition state. And every failure or success is contextual. In another context, the champion of this particular game may be the loser in the other one because context has changed. Although they are still being tested in the same area and arena, context change. So we will never meet unique contests. There'll be different. Anywhere they try to clone people and say everybody is the same, know that a form of cultism is going on, or you're in a robotic laboratory, or somebody is making money from people appearing like they are conformists, and so maybe they're doing some obeisance. But minus that, it has no meaning. Everyone should bear his own or our own responsibility for your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And that responsibility is a personal decision and is never ending. When you decide to give it an ending, you have defined tacitly your end date. I think it was in Harvard. I can't remember that the research was done, and the philosophical thinking that there's tomorrow and that life continues is more important, was found more important as a factor that kept old people alive rather than will we succeed or will we fail. It's mundane when you anchor your exit around a certain point. Why are you giving up on your life? To go and do what? What are you going? Look, everybody will not get out of this world alive anyway. Why don't we accept those who have some persuasions if their persuasion happens? So why don't we embrace it? Embrace the journey. Don't be too focused about the end that you lose sight of the journey. This is very important. Yeah, it's good to begin with the end in mind. It's good to begin to think about the ending, but please don't be rushing through. There are many people who are born and are rushing to die. They are
Yeah,
born
yeah,
young, they are born very young, and they are rushing every seminar problem. They're just creating scenarios in their mind of how things are going to work out, and now they are moving towards their grave. And so they are born and then they are running forwards to go and die. It might take 80 years, it might take 90, it might take 70, but they're obviously running themselves and working themselves up to the point that they don't think about their future, they are thinking death. Because once you go that route, you're calling death.
So instead of, because I have to agree with you on when you say when you don't have any things to learn, anything to achieve, you're dead.
That's the
Your
end.
your
That's the end.
human purpose is done. You can't, you're not, you're useful anymore. You cannot achieve anything. You're done. So, but embrace what I can feel is, instead of find the final, piece, that's meaning running to death, embrace and enjoy the journey. So enjoying stepping outside your comfort zone, enjoying trying to learn and changing that will make the beauty of the trip is not the final destination, but the trip itself.
Yeah,
It's
because
that's kind of the final, summarizing the whole thing, probably.
yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're a human being. A human that bees. Being. Being. So you cannot be a human being that's not being in existence, being connected, being alive to your current realities. The future is not certain, my good friend, and the past is gone. The only thing we really
Yeah.
have is today. Carpe, therefore, the poem Carpe Diem, which is seize the day. At the end of the day, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can hear you. Oh, we basically every single step of the way is the important part of this journey. It's extraordinary how every single now counts. Basically every moment, any seconds of now, it's the most powerful one. How amazing and powerful. And I miss you for a second out there, but
Apologies about that.
yeah, no, that's okay. It's totally live. I miss you for a second, but basically, the power of now, the every now counts.
Yes, please don't live life that you're rushing through it and you're rushing to the future. Remember, the future is not certain. The past is gone. Today is really what we have. That's why they say carpe diem, like I said. So, as an individual, there must be a lot of investment into your consciousness now. There must be a lot of awareness and a lot of work done so that you'll understand yourself very well. Only then will you know the color of success. Only then will you be able to answer questions like, what is the ultimate? Of course, I have my own ultimates, but if I've not gone through my journey of self-awareness and introspection, whatever I agree as the ultimate today, whether the boy is there or not, whether I help the boy or not, in about 3 to 5 years, I will see my priorities have changed. So that inner compass of what your life works, what's your life mission, what are you working with, requires you to disconnect from the future and the past at times, or you go into the future. There are many techniques, but at least you need to be in yourself in the now to have an intelligent conversation, either to negotiate the future or to redefine the past.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. It's fantastic. I always try to challenge myself to see if I can find a person that think different than me and see if we can connect. But I think the main purpose that we we are all on the same path, and that's why we have such similar thoughts and mindset. I love all your idea to embrace all this new challenging and embrace that now. Every now it counts. Be aware. Awareness. It's very, very important. Since I want to take advantage of your communication experience from technology communication to person communication and between the two, how important be present um, and achieve communication with others. He is that communication helps to achieve awareness and be more present. What's the key on that?
Okay, can you see my video? Is my video on your side?
Yes.
Okay, there's a challenge with my, I don't know, I can't see the video here, but that's fine. Your question is, what is the communication challenge? How do you solve communication challenges? How do you solve communication challenges, right? With
Yes.
people on your team, right? Okay,
Basic.
a couple of things, excuse me, I say to people. Seek to understand. That's what Stephen R. Covey said in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Seek to understand before you are understood. Calm down and understand the person's perspective. People have difference of opinion and perspective, and we are fighting them. Until the perspectives line up, there can be no end. Number one, calm down to understand the other person's perspective. Number two, stand in the other person's shoes. Walk a mile and let's see where you stand. Number three, do all in your power to support your dreams by yourself. You see, if anybody were to give you money for your dreams or anybody were to give you money for yourself, you would be seen to have spent a huge amount before they come to rescue to help you. So what's the bigger point? Pay attention to yourself in a big way. In a very deliberate way, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention to your friends. Some of your friends will be sounding boards. Some of your friends will be antagonists. Some of your friends will introduce you to others, but they should not determine or be the total arbiter of your soul. Your self-awareness must be personal. Your convictions must run from you. Remember, it is your life. So your convictions must run very deep and then they must reinforce or revalidate or improve what you're thinking. But don't live your life at the expense of outsiders. That's that point. Don't live your life at the behest of a leader, at the response of an outsider. Don't bother with it. What you can do is to model something they said, model their business knowledge or whatever, or copy, or I'm sorry I said the word copy, or make notes to use their methods to execute, or look at them plain in the eye and tell them, take a walk. But the journey is yours. It is individual, and be comfortable in that skin. You didn't come to the world with any appendage. Be comfortable in that particular manifestation. Be comfortable that I'm alone, I'm responsible for myself, and my actions and inactions are going to make Omami. You must pay attention to yourself. When you do that, then you begin to get wind of things like entitlement mentality, this person has to do this for me, doesn't do it. We're supposed to, immediately opportunities will open, and then you're going to see a lot of more results. Hope I didn't speak for too long.
No. It's fascinating how uh, basically the concept of responsibility that and totally opposite than victimisms, what we usually see in everyday's life, in TVs and in social medias, where everybody is craving for attentions compared to create the attention behind you, on what you're saying, on what you have to share, and your experience in um, bring those attention that can help you achieve your goals, your life, in awareness, especially because I believe responsibility bring you to awareness. If you're responsible, a communicator, you can achieve and put you in other people's shoes. But if you're victims, you're far away from, what's the now. You bring yourself in the past or in the future in problem that don't really exist.
You still argue that somebody's responsible for your downfall.
Yeah. And everyday life, it's full of people. They're like, it wasn't me. I don't know what happened. And because it's probably easier because be responsible, that means you're very connect to your inner self. You truly connect to yourself as much as far as your responsibility to create and to make mistakes and or achieve goals. So creating can bring both mistakes or success
Achieving
goals.
goals. Yeah,
So the
yeah, I agree.
responsibility, a lot of people are not fully responsible because they see as mistakes as from old trauma or paradigms that the mistakes are bad, so they're afraid to show themselves. So they show
Mm-hmm.
as victims.
I agree. I agree. I
And
agree.
especially in a work environment, you probably experiment a lot in be a coach, be a project manager. You need to uh, coordinate people before you're coordinating technology response in whatever software program or code you enter. Human being, in my opinion, it's still in a code that they have, so you need to crack the code to try to achieve
To,
a
to
little bit
to
from their
achieve it.
people.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's kind of revolutionary. A lot of people, what's the best way to be not a victim? What do you think? What could be
Mm,
the first step, at least? Because
mm.
if somebody in this conversation maybe start to think, realize they can be a victims, what could be a first step for them?
Ask yourself 5 whys.
Okay.
Are you a victim? Yes. Why are you a victim? The answer. Why you? Why? Keeps asking why. Why? By the time you get to the fifth or sixth one, you find out that all the whys are not good enough.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. So keep saying why has happened ever. Like the most common one, it's happening all to me. This is
What?
just
Why?
why is happening to you? Because I'm not lucky. Why you're not lucky?
Thank you.
Because I was born like this. Why you were born like this?
Good.
Because I don't know. It's fascinating how you go
By
in
the
the
time you
rabbit
get to
hole.
the by the time you get to the fifth or the sixth one, you would find out that your excuse is not holding water. It's not even going anywhere. It's a lie. At the end of the day, excuses are the lies we tell ourselves to excuse us from doing the right things. Yeah, those are the things. This. Yeah.
How powerful. That's very powerful. I never thought about it. That's a very good key to self self reflect to yourself. That's amazing. I want to dip real quick on the cybersecurity, to changing a little bit of stuff since
Yeah,
you're an expert, and then I want to conclude with all your coaching material, what you have to offer, and everything. But
yeah.
cybersecurity, because I'm very interested. I don't know much about it. What what it is and how we can be more aware of that.
All right, cybersecurity is all the energy, it's all the bodies of knowledge, skill, tools, techniques, capacity. I mean, it's a huge industry now that has to do with keeping our world safe, particularly on the internet.
Because cybersecurity, I think it's a main. Yeah, I believe it's huge right now in this particularly timeline. So cybersecurity, it's most common failure. Every day we receive messages, we receive tons of activities that are running around. We got lost you for a second, but I believe
Yeah,
now you're back. You're back.
yeah, yeah.
Like we were
So
saying, cybersecurity,
it's about keeping our world safe on the cyber realm, using knowledge, skills, tools, techniques, capacity, different things to ensure that at the end of the day we are safe. That's what it is. So that's on the web. So there are different areas, different aspects, long list. What I do is to help organizations secure using concepts like human firewalls or human engineering, where human beings are fortified against attacks. They are taught the principles and the processes that by which attacks happen, and then they are able to muster understanding and build a resistance against it. That's what's good. That's what cybersecurity does, and I'm interested in helping people and organizations and individuals create what you call the the easier way to get it done, which is actually in human capacity, because ultimately all hacks are human acts.
yeah. So basically, come down to all human
Yeah,
interaction.
yeah. At the end of the day, it's a human being that does something or a human being that's affected.
Exactly.
Either way, it's from man to man.
Basically, yeah. You utilize the web, but that's I believe there's always somebody behind it.
Yeah.
At least until ChatGPT become a human person with feelings and stuff. But well, I think we have few years. That's amazing, David. I don't know. Did you have a kind of a coaching
Yes,
program and something that you can share with us? Because a lot of people
ye-
now want to know more about you.
yes, I have a lot of opportunity to be of help to people. In coaching, you can just send me a LinkedIn um, message to invite me to a chat, and then we have a talk. Also, what I do across the different areas of human endeavor. I work in marketing comms till today. I do some work for marketing communications companies to advise them at very high level. I do some work in cybersecurity. I do some work also in project management and program management. I am able to put on all of these things and do them based on what you want. So if you send me, if anyone sends me a LinkedIn message, and then I can look at anyone like I told you earlier, in 6 seconds, I'll tell you what's going on with their lives, what they can do, what they cannot do, why they are having sabotage, why they are moving in circles, and what to do to break that circle and go to the next level. So if anybody wants that service, just send me a message, and then we schedule this on Calendly, of course.
Definitely. I'll put your LinkedIn linked down below so everybody can look. I will send my personal message so you see I want to review from me from my personal career experience to see what you have to say about my
Absolutely.
little journey. So if
Absolutely.
anybody need help on the career path, since you can use a lot of knowledge of his knowledge of David, or anybody want to know about more cybersecurity, a project
Yeah,
manager, how to achieve things, David is the man. His whole career, it's been a huge impact for a lot of companies, major companies in the UK.
absolutely.
So thank you
Absolutely.
so much, David, to be part of this little conversation here on our
Thank you so
podcast.
much. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm excited. Thanks for having me. Thanks so
Beautiful.
much.
And I'll definitely see you on the next one. Thanks.
Thank you, man. Have a wonderful day.